What's up, guys? So we went out yesterday and picked us up a brand spanking new Honda Talon 1000R. Really super stoked about this thing. Coming from the RZR, we got the RZR brand new in 2017. Put about 300 miles, 100 miles on that thing. Definitely used it. Got a lot of seat time behind that. So definitely looking forward to the upgrade to the Honda. I gotta say, man, this thing is just an animal. All right, just look. It's brand new. We haven't taken it out on the trails. It'll never be this clean again. It'll never be like this again. We ride our stuff hard. But just looking it over, it just seems like it's so much better built than the Polaris. There's so many times I go to work in the Polaris, and I just think to myself, like, why would they design it this way? Honda is the complete opposite. Everything you see, it's just designed well, it's placed well. You know, stuff looks like it's easy to get to. You know, I mean, I will say that RZR is one hell of a machine. It's done as well. It is a good machine. I do like it. You know, it just got a couple areas where it definitely sucked. Hoping that the Honda will take care of that. I mean, just looking at this thing, though, Aiden, if you want to get up in here and show these shocks compared to the RZR. I mean, these things are just huge. These got the Fox 2.5 Quick 3 settings, so it's not as fine-tunable as the Polaris, where you can kind of really dial it in. This is really soft, medium, hard. But I think for most people, for what I do, you know, that's more than enough. But I mean, just looking at these front shocks compared to these Polaris. Now, these are Fox, and then these are Walker Evans, but I mean, still,
it's super big.
Right. I mean, look at the difference, obviously. So hoping that improves ride quality quite a bit. And then just getting back to the Honda, just everything about it, in my opinion, really seems like it's better built. I mean, you look at the doors really seem like they're kind of like an automotive quality doors. It's finished on the inside. You got your grab bar here. Comes factory with the net. Compared to the Polaris,
cheap old stuff.
It's definitely less stout and just appears kind of cheaper. You know, we do have the lower door inserts on the Polaris, and we'll get there with the Honda, but just the quality and the way the doors open and close, and the actual construction of the door itself definitely seems like it's better on the Honda. You know, I mean, I will say that the Honda interior to me doesn't really super excite me, but the fact of the paddle shifters and being able to shift through some gears, that outweighs the fancy gadgets that tend to come with the Polaris.
Yeah.
So just the interior, you know, I mean, it seems the gauge cluster, it's not as nice as the Polaris. I will say that the Polaris gauge cluster behind the steering wheel definitely looks better, but again, it's a Polaris. I'm kind of counting on the Honda name here, but it definitely is comfortable. It seems well made. All the interior compared to the Polaris, again, where it's just this cheap, unfinished plastic. The Honda's got all the painted trim, and the black plastic that is there just seems thicker or heavier. Rear suspension, same thing with the Fox 2.5s. We got 20 inches of travel in the rear and 17 in the front. Compared to the Polaris, I want to say it was 12 in the front, 13 and a half in the rear. So that alone will make a big difference. And it's kind of hard to really compare these two, honestly, because one's a 900S, the other's a Honda Talon. I think that the Talon R is more comparable to an XP, but this is just kind of us. Obviously, this has the dual trailing arm suspension.
The all-wheel full drive,
which only come on the XPs, but this is just kind of what we did, or what we've experienced. Now, Honda's got their 4-link rear suspension, which, again, this thing's brand new. I don't got any time in it. We'll put that thing to the test, but everything I've read says that this thing is amazing, performs well, and really does a good job. The back end, I'm hoping it kind of grows on me. I feel like Honda could have did something a little bit better, but I don't really care for the fact that it's open, but, you know, again, just kind of counting on Honda's reputation there. I will say something that really stood out to me right away is the Honda logos, per se. You know, getting back to the Polaris, when you look at the Polaris down here on the lower part, it's literally just a white decal. It doesn't matter what color, what trim, it's always just that white Polaris decal. These in the back and then in the front are actually inlays that I got off eBay and put those on just to get them to stand out a little bit more, but from the factory they were just black blank spots. Compared to the Honda on the side, you've actually got raised lettering there that's different colored plastic. You pressure wash the hell out of that thing, it ain't coming off. Compared to the Polaris, I've had fly off on me a couple times. Another thing I thought was pretty cool was these kind of side vents right here. They're on both sides. Only one of them is functional, but it definitely looks cool. Definitely looks cool. And the best thing, the engine, the driveline. So everyone knows Polaris obviously runs CVT transmissions with the belts. A lot of guys complain about them. You know, I will say for me on this thing, like I said, about 800 miles, still factory belt. You know, I haven't had any problems with it, but a lot of guys do. You know, but this right here has the DCT, Honda's dual clutch transmission. Puts out 105 horsepower, and everything is just easy to get to.
Like, look at that, and look at that.
Yeah.
Like,
Could have cleaned the old RZR up, but she's dirty, and that's all right. You know, I mean, we definitely worked this RZR. We definitely had fun with it too. You know, we just put a windshield on. It's got a roof. It's got the light bar. We just put a windshield on. We got a full enclosure from CEC Enclosures. I got the rock blocks, which help a lot with the mud. We got a little cheap radio in here. Just put a heater kit. Got the whips on the back. So, front bumper, winch. Like I said, this Polaris really has served us really, really, really well. It just, you know, out at the Badlands Off-Road Park and some of the whoops and some of the higher speed stuff, it definitely lacked handling-wise, where I'm really thinking that's not going to be a problem whatsoever going forward. So for now, like I said, this thing's brand spanking new, not a speck of dirt on it. So we're gonna go out and ride it. We're gonna put this bad boy to the test. We're gonna try out this paddle shifting. We're gonna test Honda's DCTs. I wanna see what it's like to bang some gears on the trails back here. You know, we got a lot of seat time behind this RZR. It's gonna be interesting to be able to compare the two. So we're gonna go have some fun, boys, and we'll come back with you and tell you what we found out.